Hello everyone, welcome to a series on environment, and the story today is about certain terminologies in use. But before we dive deeper, let me discuss about this EPA ranking 180 countries on climate change performance, environmental health, and ecosystem vitality. So when we say climate change performance, it basically includes a country's efforts. So a country's efforts in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Or you can say the overall contribution of greenhouse gases they'll take into account, and specifically what are the steps that a particular country is taking in order to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions. So consider, for instance, with regards to the Paris Agreement. So they're trying to limit the global temperature rise to 2 degrees centigrade, rise to well below 2 degrees centigrade. So the steps that country is taking in order to achieve this key goal of Paris Agreement, which is to limit the global temperature rise and reduce the global warming, or to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. So ranking is based on climate change performance. And with regards to the environmental health, you can see the impact environment has on human well-being. Okay, consider, for instance, the air we breathe, the water we drink, where we live, where we work, what we eat. Everything is going to have an impact on our health, right? So if the air quality is good, it leads to reduction respiratory problems, or if the air quality is bad, it leads to more respiratory problems. There is a certain waterborne diseases which comes into play if the water we are drinking is not safe. Okay, if there are more pollutants in the air, it obviously leads to health issues, right? As I mentioned, respiratory issues. So environmental health is one such factor which takes into account the environmental impact on human well-being or human health, you can say. So this is taken into account for ranking. When with regards to the ecosystem vitality, it is about the health and resilience of ecosystem. So organisms together with the environment in which they live is an ecosystem. So within an ecosystems, so the interactions takes place, the biotic abiotic components together live, and the interactions takes place within their environment. I mean, biotic abiotic interaction, or abiotic interactions also. Abiotic biotic interactions also. It's like a plant, just mentioning it, okay? So plant is a biotic organism. So, and it depends upon the soil. So soil, of course, soil has certain organisms which are biotic, but the soil in itself is abiotic, and it depends upon the sunlight, which is abiotic. So that means biotic abiotic interaction is taking place, biotic abiotic interaction is taking place at the same time. An animal comes and eats it. So it is like biotic biotic interactions. So leave it, but all this in simple terms, understand that an ecosystem can be of types like a forest ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, and so it's like organisms together with the environment in which they live is an ecosystem in simple terms. Okay. So these ecosystems provide certain services, like forest ecosystem provides a service of carbon sequestration, climate change mitigation, Okay, so it basically implies, when we talk about ecosystem vitality, it means the uh, the support of biodiversity by an ecosystem along with the continuance of these ecosystem services. It basically implies the ability to support this biodiversity along with the continuance of these ecosystem services. So a forest ecosystem basically supports a lot of biodiversity. Along with that, it has to continue these ecosystem services. So all of this comes into ecosystem vitality. So if the ecosystem's health is good, if it is in good condition and good terms, obviously it leads to support of rich biodiversity. It helps in it helps us in providing these ecosystem services also. So all of these comes under ecosystem services. So along with that, when you say the resilience of an ecosystem is like, if an ecosystem is under damage, I mean if it is getting destroyed, and how it is able to uh, get back to its original shape, like consider for instance if we do deforestation, going through regeneration of forest can be done through afforestation. So not every forest will be well adapted, even if we do afforestation. Like if a particular forest is destroyed because of wildfires, uh, it may not be that resilient enough in order to get back to its original shape. So the resilience of that particular ecosystem will get disturbed, right? So obviously the resilience of the ecosystem, the health of the ecosystem is also taken into account. You see, like as we talk about mental health resilience, same is the case with ecosystem resilience also. Okay. So the health of the ecosystem and resilience of an ecosystem is to take how resilient it is in order to get back into its original shape and form. All of this is taken into account to rank it. In ecosystem vitality. This is just for your understanding, okay? And also with regards to the blue water and green water. So green water is the water which is present in soils, vegetation. This is observed by the roots used by the plants, obviously. So this plays a critical role in the process of transpiration. So when we say transpiration, how it works is, in simple terms, this process involves, if there is a plant, so the water is absorbed by the roots of these plants. So the absorption of water by the roots of the plant along with the transport. So when it is absorbed by the roots of this plant and it is transported to the parts of the plant, then to the leaves. So this transport of water is essential for the purpose of nutrients uptake of the plant, and then from these leaves the evaporation of water takes place. So this is how the transpiration works. The roots absorb the water moisture from the soil, then it is transported to the parts of the plant, and then the evaporation of the water from the leaves of the plant takes place. Okay, so this green water obviously is, when it is present in the soils, it plays a critical role in the process of transpiration, right? So if there are it plays a critical role, an important role in climate change mitigation. I'll explain how, and also in the process of rainfall. It is this significant. So how it plays an important role in climate change mitigation is because if the soils are healthy enough to hold the moisture, let me write it here. Soils are healthy enough to hold the moisture, then plants roots absorb the moisture, as I have mentioned. Plants roots absorb, as I have mentioned, then transported to the parts of the plant, then evaporation of water takes place from the leaves, right? So obviously when this happens, transported plants, that means nutrients takes place. So when all this process happens, the plants thrive actually. Plants grow better. So when plants grow better and plants thrive, they obviously, since plants play a role in carbon sequestration. The carbon sequestration is good enough. Okay? And when the carbon sequestration is good enough, what happens? It plays a crucial role in climate change mitigation. Right? Helps in reduction of global warming. So this is how it works actually. So with regards to the rainfall, how it plays a crucial role is the evaporation from the leaves of the plant, evaporation from the leaves. So what happens is it leads to formation of clouds. This water vapor which is getting evaporated from the leaves, obviously resulting in rainfall. Okay, so when we talk about blue water is the fresh water found in lakes, rivers, reservoirs. So it is basically like the surface water, the groundwater. Just wanted to mention that. So here the green water is a part of the hydrological cycle. So it plays an important role in the hydrological cycle this way. So blue water is recharged through precipitation. So precipitation can be in the form of rainfall, can be in the form of snow also. So whenever rainfall occurs, certain moisture of this rainfall is observed by the soil, is retained by the soil. Other part it goes into lakes, rivers. So this blue water is primarily recharged through precipitation. Just mentioned about green water also, which is observed by soil. So then I would like to talk about woody encroachment. So when I say woody encroachment, is a term. So these were the terms in use actually. It refers to the increase of tree cover or shrub cover. Basically in grasslands or savannas, you can say. So what happens is when there is increase of tree or shrub cover in grasslands, it results in homogenization or uniformity on an ecosystem. That means this diverse, multi-layered. Why we call it diverse? Earlier there were grasslands, trees, shrubs, but now there are only trees and shrubs replaced. All this grassland is converted into this tree and shrub cover. So diverse, multi-layered is converted into this single or uniform ecosystem, you can say. So basically it leads to the reduction of native grassland birds which are dependent upon these grasslands, and it converts open habitats, that is those habitats of grasslands, into a single habitat. I'll discuss the rest in the next class actually. Thank you, stay tuned for more updates.